Hi again, everyone. Great to see you for a 100th edition. So this is an extremely special 100th edition of Miami Hurricanes Live. We come your way each and every week, at least once a week, sometimes twice, and once in a while we do it 3 times. We had Paul Scoop on the U earlier this week. The Wholesome One's going to join us here in just a few minutes, and Cam Underwood tonight on the main channel. So if you're watching me right now live, or you're watching me just after the video posts, Thursday night, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Thursday night, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Cam Underwood stayed at the U for another Miami live stream on the main channel. On the main channel, MarkRogersTV. Look it up if you're not subscribed there. Please subscribe over there as well. Hit that bell for the notifications. That way you know when we're going live, which we are right now. And the Wholesome One is standing by. He is going to join us very soon. Miami taking on North Carolina State. The Canes at 5-1, much better than the 3-3 that they were at this point last season. 5-1, much to clean up, but still a nice position. And after, hopefully for you Miami fans, a win on Friday night, the Canes will be able to watch and check out Clemson Notre Dame to see who their competition may be in the ACC championship game if they make it all the way through. We're, of course, going to have an interesting scenario if Notre Dame pulls off the upset. Or I'm sorry, let's say if Clemson wins. If Clemson wins, maintains their undefeated season all the way through. Notre Dame has the one loss to Clemson, just like Miami, and Notre Dame and Miami finish out the season with only one loss. They don't play each other. Probably the biggest challenge to each team is going to be North Carolina, but the Heels have stumbled as of late. They've got 2 losses in the conference to Virginia and Florida State. So North Carolina's loss against Virginia last weekend was mighty big for this race. And again, there are other factors, but in regards to the 2 teams that I want to say generally control their own destiny, because they don't completely, because they don't play each other and they could wind up tied. So one's going to be left out based on the ACC tiebreaker system. So based on common opponents, that is going to be exactly the same. So it's not going to be based on head-to-head or common opponents. It has to come down to rankings. It has to come down to a point differential, in which when I brought this topic up the other day, it was said to me a number of times in the live chat that it's going to come down to a situation in which the point differential comes into play, and that's posted on the ACC website. So we will check that out at some point. I had meant to, but we weren't quite there. All right. I believe the Wholesome One's ready to go.
What's up, Mark? How's everybody doing today?
We are good. We are good.
Great.
Just letting people know that this is a special live stream on our Miami channel here. Number 100.
Number 100. What a blessing, huh, Mark?
We've got the Wholesome One here for it.
I appreciate it. I thank you so much for having me. I'm rocking the parlay today, the white jerseys. I mean, we're going Stormtrooper for the first time this season. So I'm pretty excited about it. So I figured, hey, why not throw a little – I like the energy today, so I threw on the white today.
It's a good look. It's a good look for you.
Yeah,
I like that.
Pretty expensive jersey, too. I mean, I don't get the smallest sizes. I ain't the smallest guy. So.
Well, it's a good look on you. And what number are we rocking there? Is that 19?
Yeah, it's from last year. So it's it's not the Scott Patchett edition. Trust me, it's not.
Okay.
It's just the 2019 parlay jerseys that we wore versus Virginia last year. So I was able to get one of them.
All right, folks, leave your comments, your questions, your debate topics here in the live chat, and we will get to them. Got Demetrius online. Good to see you. Also, Ashley. Yes, we're with you.
What's up?
Records. Hit that like button. Let's see. Anybody with any questions?
Woo!
Mike says we're not going to go undefeated because we were just discussing the ACC tiebreaker situation, and with Notre Dame and Miami not playing, if the Irish go down to Clemson, then both teams go all the way through the rest of the season. We're going to have a tie for second place, of course, in the ACC championship game slot, and that's going to be a bit of a mess.
Well, Mark, I would love to entertain that. If we ever get there and handle our own business, it would be amazing to, sit there. And at the end of the day, you go from 6-7 to being and having a chance, to be in your championship game a year later. Think about the growth in the program. That's number one. Would it be a disappointment if we missed it? Absolutely. But you were taking those steps yet again. Sometimes there are imaginary steps, but then there are also things that are just true. You rarely have teams that go from a losing season to undefeated the very next year, unless Urban Meyer walks into Ohio State. That's probably the last time something like that has happened. I think they were either 6-6 or I think they had that losing season.
6-7 with a bowl loss. Yep,
to Florida, and the very next year undefeated under sanction. But that's just the top tier, and we don't know if Coach Manny Diaz and the staff is that or anywhere near that, and time will tell. At the end of the day, I mean, we have NC State tomorrow, and it'll be something nice to turn on. But to me, it just depends on which Miami shows up, because the NC State team is solid. I mean, they lost their starting QB, but all the other QBs have had playtime. They've either been situational players, they come in for certain downs, or they have already played some games because their starter has been out. And one of the Finley brothers is on their roster too, right? Goodness gracious.
Absolutely.
Did your grandfather go to NC State or something? Because isn't the stadium named Finley Memorial Stadium or something?
Yeah, they just keep coming. So, the quarterback competition with the starter, Devin Leary, out is between Ben Finley and Blake Hockman.
Gotcha.
And Hockman's the lefty. And we had an NC State guy on this week from 247 Sports. He says Hockman's going to be the starter. He's going to play.
Oh, cool.
And so he's the guy. He's a lefty. He was original commit to Florida State.
Oh.
And actually, I think he started there because when I looked him up the other day, there were Google pictures of him in a Florida State, like on the practice field with Florida State.
Oh, okay. So he probably transfer portal guy, or just probably even before transfer portal was really famous. Is he young?
Yeah, he's still relatively young. I'll look him up here in a second. He's played a little bit. He played a little bit last year. He was in the quarterback competition last year. Okay. And played quite a bit.
I mean, either way, they got a dude at wide receiver, 86. Holy smokes. Dude's like
that must be Mika Zizi.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. He can be a problem for us. Yeah, and that's why I think the game will be good. I mean, you're playing a solid team. And in the ACC, there's kind of Clemson, and if you add Notre Dame, and then there's just like this mesh of teams all together, including us and Vatech and Virginia and Pitt. And, because even UNC, they look at how they played the first half of the season, all the pre-polls. Look at Louisville, all the preseason polls. And then now the games have started. Everything has kind of started to lay itself out. So, I mean, yeah, I get why preseason hype happens. I understand why you have a preseason rankings and all that type of stuff. But I've always felt like we shouldn't really have. Thank you very much for the comment on the jersey. I appreciate that. Conundrum Records. I think we shouldn't really get any rankings till about week 3 or 4. Let the people play, man. Because obviously UNC wasn't the 5th ranked team, and we weren't the 7th ranked team. Everyone wasn't even playing ball yet. I mean, I'll take it while it was here, but it wasn't real. That's why you guys got to tune in to MarkRogersTV. The top 25 that actually makes sense.
That's it. You've even got the delivery down.
Yeah, I love the pause that you do. I just love that. Top 25. That actually makes sense. I love that. I love it.
Oh, yeah. Got to put on a little bit of a show. I know you do. You get revved up, keep going. So you've looked at this NC State team a little bit.
I have. Mm-hmm. And, a couple things stand out to me. I mean, that unorthodox 3-3 stack defense is actually, it's really cool to watch on film, because I've rarely only seen it a little bit at West Virginia. I believe the defensive coordinator was at West Virginia previously. And that's where he brought that 3-3-5 from. Because I mean, in the Big 12, you're going to give up points, so you got to be able to just have people in space and try to rally to the ball because you're going to give up points. But with them at NC State, they have 3 really good linebackers, and they're pretty deep at that 3 front. They can go 2 or 3 deep with solid size. They're really big players up front, but they're nimble. You know, something that I'll talk about tonight on my film session, dropping at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you go check that out. These defensive ends in their 3-3-5, the way that they disengage, it helps to have a tight end to come slam down on them because they can disengage really well, and now you can't go east and west. And what also helps is that's why it's called a 3-3 stack. Those linebackers are literally right behind them. So if they get swallowed up or double teamed, the linebacker comes and fills the hole wherever you were supposed to be. And that's the art of the 3-3-5. Is this really gap exchange going on between the linebackers and the defensive line. So, for example, if you have I got my whiteboard here. Might as well draw it up for you.
There it is. While you do that, I'll correct my helmets. I don't think Curveball realizes I do like 10 of these a day. I can't be switching helmets constantly. It's the last thing on my mind.
All right. So the art of the 3-3-5.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's get an education here.
Huh?
Here we go.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. So their base, going to have an end here, a nose here, and an end here. You're also going to have a middle, a wheel, and a sail. So here is the art of the 3-3-5. So this is what happens pre-snap. Now, of course, they don't stay like this when you have moving parts. So what happens is, as the snap is going on, these linebackers are very active, okay? So what happens is, based on the strength of the offense, this Sam, of course, is going to be, let's say, put a tight end over here. So this Sam could be here. The wheel could creep in a little bit, while this Mike creeps over here a little bit. They adjust to whatever we're seeing, okay? So what happens a lot is you get a double team here at the point of attack from the tight end and the tackle. And so what happens is running back thinks, oh, snap, this lane is open. We're getting a double team here. So the back comes here. But what happens is the Sam is already right there. Nobody to touch him if they can't climb. But what the default is, and what hurts them in a 3-3-5, is if you're able to handle this front and climb to the linebackers because there's no one there. So, in particular, UNC's offensive line way better than Miami's offensive line, just way better. So what they had to do here was they started to bring the defensive ends inside. And it worked against their defense because what would happen is double team here, slam here, and then the tight end would climb up. And there's nobody to come help. And that's why they end up running for 300 some odd yards, is because there was nobody here to help once you get past the initial box. Okay, so the 3-3-5 is a very active defense that you can blitz a lot out of. But if you're able to block and climb to the second level, easy pickings from that. And then you got to force cornerbacks and safeties to tackle. And at the Power 5 level, yes, they're pretty good. So they'll be able to tackle on Friday night. But I'm very optimistic as to what could happen in the run game. But I also know, based on my film, that our offensive line isn't as good as some of the other offensive lines I see them have pretty bad games against. And they were on a bye also. So they're going to look at what they did wrong. They may even come up with a different scheme for how we would attack them. But the reason why I did so much research on the UNC game, well, number one, Mark, it's a rivalry game. So the emotion is high. And secondly, they run a very similar offense to what we run. So I wanted to see the type of fronts or slants or pinches that we probably would see on Friday. But we're probably going to see that and more because it is Miami. Teams play Miami a little different. You know, a lot of these coaches were young in the 80s and they either loved or hated Miami, and they didn't like us, most of them. So they play us a little different. And I expect teams to really go at our right guard and right tackle with a lot of their blitzes because the communication on that side hasn't been the same. since about Clemson. So we'll see what happens with the right side of this offensive line and this unorthodox defense.
EJ Rod is looking to cruise to a win tomorrow. Got Andre Williams, who's got a couple of questions, very, very broad questions here, so you can take these in any direction that you want. He's looking for concerns, and he's looking for standouts.
Oh, sure. So my concerns, UNC delay blitzes a lot on third downs. That's been a problem for us, something we've been working on. It's gotten better. It isn't where we want it to be, but it has gotten better. And so delay blitzes is something that everyone does. Even Miami does it. But when you do them off of the edge and you have an offensive line already sliding that way, now you force whoever is in the backfield, whether it's the halfback, whether it's the tight end, to pick and choose which one. Because if they're sending a blitz from the left-hand side and the whole offensive line slid to the right, there's no one there to help the back, and he has to pick which one and just hope the QB makes one of them miss. And that's what's been happening to Miami. NC State had a lot of success with that versus UNC. Now, if you look at the score, you wouldn't be able to tell. But if you watch the game, that was one thing that kept them in that second and medium and third and long range, was being able to hit delay blitzes late on the quarterback. So one of my concerns is their delay blitz game. The other concern is number 86. This dude attacks footballs. He can take a slant 80 yards. He can go across the middle. And I think our corners are playing pretty solid, but I don't think we've seen anybody with this size and speed combo yet. You know, of course, Clemson, but, you know, we were up and emotion was high for that game. But I'm saying since that game on a consistent basis, I don't think we've seen a wide receiver to this ilk yet. Standouts or things that I'm excited about, maybe happy about, I'm guessing he's thinking for us, like pluses on the side for Miami.
He wants to know who's going to stand out in this game.
Oh, man. I would hope. That's a good question, Mark. I hope our running game shows up this week. NC State had a really tough time bringing down the backs at UNC. I mean, they ran up and down, stiff arms, spins, everything. I don't see us having that same success until I can see it visibly, because I know our backs, they hit holes. I think all three of them are kind of one-cut backs. They get the ball, they find out where the hole is, they hit it and go. But as far as making people miss and shaking, I haven't really seen our backs do it, and I can't project something I haven't seen them do yet, Mark. But I'm hoping our wide receivers will handle business in this game, because NC State's corners aren't that good. And if we can hold up in pass protection, I think we'll do pretty well attacking their corners and safeties. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
So when the defensive coordinator makes a decision to go delayed blitz versus just a standard blitz, and obviously I believe we all know the difference between, you see a delayed blitz, you see the player hang back, and then there's a moment of uncertainty from the offense. They don't know if he's going to drop into coverage or he's going to look for a gap in the blocking in the line. Once they start to engage in the pocket forms, there's usually a gap and he's looking for it and he shoots through, versus just bam, just off the gun trying to get there as quickly as possible. So are there, other than just it being a guessing game, that this would be a good time for a delayed blitz versus just a blitz? Are there any other components in that the DC would make a determination whether he goes delayed blitz or not?
The biggest thing with that is seeing how offensive lines communicate. If you can see that they're having problems and it's getting late in the time clock, in the play clock, and they have to snap the ball. Or if you get a key on our snap count, like we do the clap thing. So if people realize that after you could count 1001, Miami's going to snap the ball after they clap, then you'll start to see delayed blitzes. And all of them looks like delayed blitzes, because eventually they'll stand where they're supposed to. And then as soon as they hear that clap, they'll start creeping and go, because they know for a fact that we won't have enough time to make any adjustments fast enough, and you'll be able to come scot-free. So that usually comes based off of the study in game and pregame. You'll have it in the game plan for one of those key, long third and longs or your second and long to force them to have to do a draw on third down and punt the ball. You'll prepare for something like that. And secondly, if you're realizing, hey, they keep sliding to the field every time. Well, let's send a delayed nickel blitz, a cat blitz, and no one will be there because we'll send a linebacker to take up that running back, and you can come straight off the edge. The Air King's right-handed, so he's going to be facing this way. He won't see you coming. Go straight for the ball. So it's really the flow of the game and how people are communicating. And, you got coaches up in the box that are letting you know, hey, this is a snap count. I don't see them addressing certain things. I think this blitz would work right here if we send this.
Got the Wholesome One on the line talking Miami football. This is edition number 100 right here. So we have brought you 100 live streams on Miami football here and over on the main channel. And we actually got Cam coming by tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern time for another one.
Hey.
So we don't plan it that way. It's just whenever I can get these two, I get them on anytime I can. So sometimes those are split on different days. Sometimes they get stacked up like tonight. But Cam will join us over on the main channel later tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern time. And in between, I just keep grinding. Nebraska live at 6 o'clock Eastern time.
Let's go.
All right. So we got Anthony on the line here. What's that, Wholesome One?
I said, it's really good to see you get more and more people, different teams. Like when I saw the NC State guy, I was like, hey, all right, cool. You got an NC State guy. You got Notre Dame guys, got Ohio State, guy. I remember one year you had a USC girl, or was it a Florida girl?
Oh, we got USC. We got, we got a Florida girl. We got a Florida guy. We got USC folks.
Perfect.
Absolutely. We're all over the place. Oregon, Oklahoma, Texas A&M. All right. And so Anthony here says, and keep in mind, everybody out there, that if there's a particular team that you want me to feature in a live stream, so we started Nebraska last week. The reason we started Nebraska last week, it wasn't like I wanted to do Nebraska more than anybody else. Somebody came to me and they brought a sponsor and said, if you do Nebraska, I'll get you a sponsor. I said, I will do Nebraska. They got a sponsor for me like that. So They made it happen.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, none of us own these, Mark watches us, lets you, he lets us come on here. Remember Paul was on here earlier this week.
Yeah.
For his birthday, what an amazing chance to see one of my friends get a chance to be on here. And whoever gets an opportunity, hey, if you have somebody and it's a team, Mark doesn't care if it's Idaho.
Absolutely.
Put their name and maybe their email or their channel and get them in contact, and you may get a chance to see them on maybe not the Miami channel, hopefully not the Miami channel.
No,
but just on
not going to be here. Channel. So Anthony's asking about Mike Harley, and if I interpret this correctly, I'm going to try to clean this up a little bit. Basically, great players have always said that they feel the challenge against the best players in practice, pushing each other in practice. Is there not enough competition at practice to keep everybody from being complacent?
You know what, Mark? I would be remiss if I said yes or no to that. So I would give my opinion because I don't know for a fact. Here's my thing. You are what you continuously do. You are who you continuously vibrate around. Okay? If I surround you with a whole bunch of average thinking people, there's a high chance you will be. If I surround you around people who are really, really good at a sport that you play, and I continuously have you go against that person or try to compete with that person, eventually you may not get to their level because they may just be blessed with size and all type of other things. But eventually when I put you up against somebody else, you'll 9 times out of 10 beat them because you've been going up against the best one, right? Mike Harley let the cat out the bag that these players were just doing whatever coach told them to do. And at the highest level of college football, the Power 5 level, which Miami is a Power 5 team. We're not top tier just yet. But if we ever want to get back there, the story has been simple across college football. It's the level of work and effort that an individual man brings to a team. A promise, like Michael Irvin said, a promise made one to another that you are going to get your job done. At the highest level. The hardest effort that you can put into it. And it's obviously known that the Miami Hurricanes wide receivers were not doing that, to the point where 4 freshmen were able to come in and all 4 of them pushed the starters, to the point where all of those starters who came back have said, oh, yeah, the reason why I even got better is because these freshmen came in and pushed me. So you weren't going to get better because that's what you're supposed to do because you're a wide receiver at Miami? No, you're only going to get better because they brought in better players and they're pushing you for playtime. And that's how it's supposed to be. But when they do come in, rise up to the occasion, set the bar, and go even higher once they come in and meet that bar, or if they get close to it. That means you got to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep pushing. All I'm hoping for is that these Canes, not just that wide receiver, continue to push each other. I'm not there at practice. I would love to be, but I'm not there at practice every day. So I don't know. But based on what we've been seeing these last couple of games, there are some positions that the competition is making the starters better. There's also some competitions going on in some positions where the people behind them are just better. Linebacker is one of them. Okay, B.J. Jennings is doing good. But Zach McLeod should no longer be a starter on this team. It's not up for discussion. He just shouldn't. It's just how it is. So the competition has taken a big step up. And imagine if we had Justin Flo on this team. I mean, would any of these guys be playing? And if they were, then you would know for a fact seniority, it was in the program. And I think seniority is getting pushed out, but it definitely was a part of this program the beginning half of this season. So hopefully I answered your question. Thank you for the question. And hopefully I answered it.
Always appreciate Ronan. So Ronan's here. Man, is he here, and he shows up and encourages us. Ronan, thank you so much for the super chat contribution. Congrats on the century, Mark. Mark, great work from Wholesome One, and great show as always. Excited for tomorrow night. Hopefully the Canes can put their best foot forward and continue to grow. Go Canes.
Let's go.
Appreciate that, Ronan.
Appreciate you so much for the donation. Thank you for the consistent support too, man. Hey, for all of you all who are here and your hashtag live squad, I appreciate everybody that is here. Hit the like button. And yet again, we just thank you. Whether you ever donate or you can or you can't, just having a presence here, being subscribed, hitting the like button. We can't even put it in the words. And that's why it sounds repetitive when we always say thank you, because we're just saying thank you for being here, man. It doesn't cost you a dime to subscribe, but it's amazing to have the people that do, because you are investing time into the content that we bring. So thank you.
Well said. Well said. So Curveball asking for prediction, Terry asking for prediction. A couple of them were straight to me. Other ones just asking for prediction. So I'm over on Patreon. Costs 15 cents a day. It's like $5 a month over on Patreon. And it's just another revenue stream that I need to build because we do this full time now. And so you can catch my predictions there. But there's a whole lot more than just the predictions, because those aren't worth $5 a month. And I hope nobody's taking those to the bank and breaking your account over my predictions. Please don't do that. I've had a number of people down through the years, and especially this year, say, Mark, we need those predictions. I'm looking to play X, Y, and Z. Okay, I make predictions, but this isn't my line of work. I'm not a handicapper or an odds maker, so don't run away with my predictions. But my predictions are on Patreon. So just go to Patreon, search MarkRogersTV. You get an insider look in what we do. You get watch parties. You get exclusive live streams per your request. You get the predictions. You get betting advice from Steve Merrill from Pro Sports Info and his lock of the week. So you may want to take that betting advice and you run with that. All right. And I know that's not the Wholesome One's wheelhouse right there.
I don't know anything about it, Mark. I never got into it.
That's a testament to you. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I don't. I never got into it, man. It sounds really cool. And I listened to it, so I sound smart. I'll be like, I'll take the over on that. People are like, oh, okay. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Just say it. It sounds pretty funny, but yeah, man. Hey, for people who can crunch the numbers like that, do your thing.
Oh man, we got Tony Baker who thinks that the running backs, when you mentioned getting the running game going, and that's the one thing that you wanted to see tomorrow night. Tony Baker wants to see more sweeps. Miami Flow Football wants to see more backs coming out of the backfield, and thinks that NC State's susceptible to backs out of the backfield catching swing passes.
You know what? I haven't really seen teams do that against them, so I don't really know. And based on the athleticism that I watched in that 3-3-5, I think it could work for us, but it could also work against us because they're already off and back. It's not like they're all crunched up in the box, in the tackle box. They're literally stacked up right behind these defensive ends, and they take one step, they're already outside of the tackle box. So if someone swings with them, they'll just literally take a step outside the box and be right in play to make a right in position to make a play. So theoretically, it sounds like it works, yes. But from what I've seen from our backs, I don't know who's going to make who miss in open space. The backs I've seen, they get the ball, Mark, they run as hard as they can into that gap, they go down, or maybe they stiff a guy, and that's it. I've seen us run an open space. I've seen us break when no one's there. But as far as getting the ball, making a guy miss, shaking, bake, spinning, I've seen none of that. Our backs just do what they're told, like robots, get up, throw the ball to the ref, and walk back to the huddle. I haven't seen any athleticism in open space from our backs.
I saw somebody do this about 3 weeks ago, and I've wondered why this isn't done more by any backs or receivers once they get a big play downfield. You'll see them just, if there's a tackler within, I'm saying 2 to 3 yards, where they'll just kind of veer out of bounds and they'll just let the would-be tackler, not even a tackler, a would-be tackler kind of chase them out of bounds. I saw a couple of weeks ago and I thought, I'm always clamoring for somebody to stick their foot in the ground. Like,
stop and let them go.
Is that guy's just assuming, okay, he's running out of bounds, I'm good to go. I'm not even going to give him a shove half the time. That I saw it a couple of weeks ago. Somebody plant their foot and just stop on a dime and then keep going.
You know, Mark,
and not give up on it.
I think a lot of coaches push back on that and don't allow their players to be them in open space. I mean, you turn on Jalen Knighton's film, and some people thought this was the second coming of Duke Johnson. I mean, the way that he plays in open space, I don't see any of our backs do any of that stuff. I mean, even when DJ Dallas and Travis Homer were here, they get the ball and they just run straight. That's it. They don't have any wiggle, any bounce, any movement to them, anything that makes them different. So what I'm thinking is the running backs coach must be telling them, you get the ball and you hit the hole as hard as you can. And there's plenty of people in the chat. If you all want to prove me wrong and send me to where you saw one of our backs decide to make anybody miss an open space, please show me. Because from what I've seen, they get the ball, they hit the B, they hit the A, they hit the C. They create a pile, they fall down, they get up and go back to the huddle. It's super generic. It's kind of hard to watch, Mark.
Curveball. It's hard for Curveball to look at my helmets, so I got scolded about that again tonight. Curveball says, with Miami having a lot of success over the middle, especially over the middle in passing, and King being 10 for 12 over the middle against Virginia, why do you think the middle is getting ignored?
I think sometimes there's overthinking going on. Because when we have our tight, because see, when Brevin Jordan is in, people just take away the middle. That's just a thing. Because he's been in college football for so long, he's well known. You got to take away the middle because he's one of the better playmakers in the conference on our team. Okay. But with Will Mallory, people were like, we'll wait to see what he's going to do until he starts to make plays. And then they started adjusting and started taking away the middle late in games also. So I think the reason why we were having success, and then the other thing is, Mark, if we start using the RPOs, this doesn't make any sense. We have an RPO quarterback. When we had a pocket passer, we ran the RPO with Brad Kaya. Now we have a QB that can do the RPO, at least we think he can. Because there's been talks of him not being able to read the DNs or read options because he's never done it before. It's very new to him. So we'll see what's up with that. But it's plenty of times I'm watching the film and I'm like, the now router's there, the screen router's there, to the point where sometimes they don't even cover the dude because they know we're going to hand it off and run. So they'll blitz that linebacker or the nickel who was covering the slot because they know we're not going to pull it and throw it. But, I mean, we have to be able to start attacking the outsides is what's going to free up the middle. Then you start attacking the middle, it's going to free up the outside. Now, of course, it sounds a lot easier with me standing here in Fargo, North Dakota, in my house talking about it, as opposed to actually being on the sideline and calling plays for it. It's a little different. But that's just simple basics. Use your players. And I mean, Mark, ask you this question. If we have a simple one-back system in a shotgun, and teams are loading up that side with the DN and the linebacker, and we're running read option, what would be a simple adjustment you would do to a one-back read option against a linebacker and a defense end?
So they're loading up on our right side.
Yep.
Simple adjustment to that. Well, I would think
formation. I'll give you a hint. Formation that you would come out.
we talking about in the backfield. We're talking about wide receiver formation.
In the backfield.
Wonder what they'd do if you lined up an H-back on the left side.
One back, right?
Okay.
So we got this problem here. And they got a linebacker here, right? This is what happened, right? Wouldn't it be so simple to just put another back over here? And that way, you can have the dive here. And that way, when we come out this way, there's a pitch man right here for the QB.
And you're taking that position from where? You're taking that spot from what?
Instead of a slot wide receiver being to that side, just go two back. That way, now you have an outlet for your QB. And even then, you can motion them back out to the slot if you want to. And now you got Jalen Knighton in the slot against the linebacker. Or you could motion him around and have it as a dive or a swing pass. Oh, look at that. We're using our players in open space. But no, we still want to line up and run the same dive RPO, TFL, and now we're 2nd and 11 and wonder why we're having such bad numbers on third down. It just baffles me. But the other part of it, Mark, is maybe we have all of this stuff in the playbook. And our players just haven't gotten to the point where we have the confidence to run that stuff. So that's why I don't point the finger at, oh, it's Rick Lashley. It must be him. Or it must be the players. We don't know what's happening in these meeting rooms. And that's why I don't like us comparing to some of these other programs, not just people who play football, programs. Because they have a foundation laid for decades now, especially on some of these staffs. And I'm talking about Clemson. Okay, the way they do things have been in place for well over a decade. So it wouldn't be fair to really compare the two. Okay, because when you come in as a freshman, not only can coach tell you about this offense, there's GAs who can tell you about the offense. There's sophomores who played in it last year, all the way up to redshirt seniors who can tell you about this same offense that we're running. And if you're having a problem, come meet with me and we can talk about it. As opposed to right now where everyone in the building is learning this offense together. They're learning which plays they can do well, which plays are not working, which plays are just situational plays. They're learning all that together. So like I said, I bring that up, just go to a two-back system on certain downs. You can get funky with it. But like I said, for all I know, that could be in the playbook. We're just not to that point where Coach Rick Lashley and his staff and De'Aaron King and these players are on the same page to where we can open up the playbook and still have the same flow. That's where my mind is with it.
Kyle Smith, Wholesome. Talk about what you see from the defensive line, specifically teaching from Stroud. I don't see anything but bull rush, speed rush outside of Roche. I'm
glad he said it. I've been saying that since last year. Thank you very much. I appreciate you loving my channel. I work very hard on that channel. I've been saying this ever since I sat down and dissected Greg Rousseau. So, what are the moves this guy being taught? Yes, he has the length to do it. But long arm, one arm bull rush and double bull rush, rip and swim is all we know how to do at the Power 5 Division I level? That doesn't sound right, Mark. Well, some players may not be to that point just yet. I get that. I know from experience what it's like to have to try to broaden your horizon and learn other moves that you're not necessarily too comfortable with just yet. But we shouldn't be able to watch, and I'm dissecting film. I don't know who that was that asked that question. I don't know if they spend time dissecting film or if they just turn on the game and all they see is say, we shouldn't be able to notice that and it still be a thing a calendar year later, where our defensive linemen are literally just bull rushing. That is unacceptable. We cannot have that stuff at this level. Now, I don't like walking back comments, but I have to be very careful because you do not know. Coach Todd Stroud could be teaching this stuff, but players are always going to fall back on what they feel comfortable with. He could be teaching them reverse spins for all we know, Mark. But they get on the field, they get helmets are flying, bullets are flying, and they go back to what they do well. Of course, your interior guys, the first thing you should do is always engage and get inside those pads and feel the level of the guard and centers and see where we want to go with the play. But if you got defensive ends only working a couple moves, that's some stuff we got to work on. I don't like it, but I can also understand where there may be a blockage going on, because you look at our other defensive line coaches, even you were saying Miami's D-line was one of the best in college football. When we had Coach Kuligowski and we had Coach Simpson last year or 2 years ago. Since they departed, nothing. Bull rush, engage, make a play if it comes to you type stuff. But not four men going to make a play and racing each other to the ball. Because, you got Kendrick Norton, who is a 3-star guard. Coach Kuligowski had him as one of the best defensive tackles in our conference, wearing number 7 with his jersey folded and his belly hanging out the bottom of it. 3-star recruit R.J. McIntosh was a 3-4, 4-eye, or 5 technique, moved into 3 technique, swim moving people and making plays all over the field in 2016-17. Gerald Willis, Joe Jackson, John Garvin, Chad Thomas, Trent Harris, these guys who hadn't been making plays until Coach Kuligowski got there. Now, you can't really compete with Alabama's money, but you had another chance to go bring him in this year and you didn't do it, so he signs with Toledo.
Charles Israel, appreciate that super chat contribution right there. Hopefully, I'm not the only U fan watching the game in Houston, Texas tomorrow night, leaving Florida tonight to go to Texas. Charles, we appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate your contribution. Definitely.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you.
Anthony Date, still waiting for you to say, go Army, beat Navy, Mark. I didn't know that I'd ever promised to do that or anyone had told me to do that, but I can say go Army, beat Navy. I just did twice. So if somebody else writes a super chat that says go Navy, beat Army, then I will also be saying that. So
can you put Dominique Brown's up there?
What are you looking for?
Dominique Brown, the most recent comment. No, most recent, all the way at the bottom. It's a good point. Coach Todd Stroud is actually one of the main reasons why we're bringing in the defensive tackles that we are with Collins and Taylor. He is their lead recruiter. So I definitely understand that. So there's a give and take with that, Mark. We're not yet to the level as a program where you could bring in a coach that's a marquee recruiter and a really good developer. So I understand that point. That's a good rebuttal to my comment, Dominique. That's a tough one as far as would you rather. Because I look at it like, do I want these 4- and 5-star players coming in and maybe they don't work as many moves, but they're top tier players? Or do I want 3 stars coming in and they're out here, working all types of moves? So that's actually a good rebuttal, man. I don't even know what to say back to that. It's a good point, though. That is a good point.
Anthony, I appreciate you saying thanks for the Go Army Beat Navy. I don't know where they came from. Maybe you have served our country. If so, certainly our honor and respect to you and everybody else who does. And I got to tell you, yeah, my level of respect for those games. Once you bring up Army, Navy, and Air Force and what they're doing off the football field, and then their ability to compete at this level on the football field is beyond my comprehension, that's for sure. We'll stay on the recruiting trail here with Tony Baker. Are we getting any elite linebackers in this recruiting class? I feel our linebackers are average and none of them play sideline to sideline, and upgraded linebackers what our defense needs.
I'm going to give you one letter and one number. T2. So I'm leaving that. Miami fans know what that means. T2.
Well, I've seen that in the chat. I know that.
It's a very marquee inside linebacker in South Florida who's currently committed to an SEC team, who he can't go on an official visit. So all of the little underhanded stuff that's happening at those SEC schools that we can't speak about usually happen when you go in person. And if you can't go there in person, then who knows? So, yes, we are going out there marquee linebacker. If we land him, if we don't, that's up to what happens in the future. All we have to do is continue playing the level of ball that we are. Maybe we'll be in position. Okay? But just know, T2, there's conversations happening. I'm not here to tell you he's picking Miami and, Rocket Top can kick rocks. No, I don't. Recruiting changes all the time. Okay? I don't know for a fact. I'm no insider as far as understanding that aspect. What I do understand, conversations are happening. The door is not closed. We're trying to bring them in. Woo!
I got you. Talking Miami football here with the Wholesome One here at MarkRogersTV, the voice of college football. Please like, comment, share the videos on social media, and subscribe. And this is edition number 100. So 100 times we've done this with the Wholesome One, Cam Underwood, Paul Scoop on the U. That was his first that we officially labeled one of our numbered live streams. So we got Paul in the mix as well. Got an Alabama fan. So, of course, all college football fans are welcome. And Jackson, Alabama fan, says he can't believe how badly y'all recruit considering the location and your history. James Williams is a step in the right direction, but it's going to take more to win anything.
Well, Jack, thank you very much for that comment. I think your comment, not only is it sarcastic, it's true, though. It's very true. Because you have a good point. But there was a point where the local players and even high school coaches did not want to trust their future or the future of young men that they care about to a program that wasn't doing anything. That's just simple. We have to build an attractive product where people want to invest in. You look at people going to the NFL. It's like business. These NFL teams invest millions of dollars because they like the product that you're handing out. If you go from handing out premium steaks to Burger King dollar cheeseburgers, and you want the same price for that cheeseburger, that's an issue. So, of course, all these other places are recruiting differently than us. That's because they're top-tier programs. I mean, as much as we love and would have wished for Amari Cooper to have been a Cane, our program wasn't in the right place. The same year he went and played in the national championship in our home stadium, we were 6-7. So, I mean, I can't get angry at that comment. And, hey, like it's to you, I really love Nick Saban. And Alabama is one of the teams I like to watch and follow. So, hey, shout out to you. Thanks for your comment. I think it was sarcastically factual. And we appreciate it.
So D Nice comes in with this one. H1 Baker says that the cornerbacks are playing man about 40 to 45% of the time. Is it a lack of speed or confidence that stops our cornerbacks from making a play on the ball?
I think it's both. I think it's both. A lack of the confidence and also a lack of speed at the cornerback position. I've seen some. I mean, you look at Corey Couch, he gets in the game and he does it instantly. No problem. Because that's just, he has the confidence and that's who he is. I mean, you look at DJ Ivy's film and he played majority zone in high school. So did Al Blaze Jr. I mean, he played at a premier high school in South Florida at St. Thomas Aquinas. He didn't even start his senior year. So, I mean, these are players who are growing before our eyes. That's just where we are with it. Okay. We're recruiting a little better and we're developing them as they are. But, you know, people thought that they were going to walk in and be Mike Ruff Jr. and Kelly Jennings. They're not those guys. They're Al Blaze Jr. and DJ Ivy. They're growing before our eyes. They're building confidence before our eyes. And the more and more success they have, the more and more we will see them look, locate, and contest the football. I've seen it some. I've seen it a lot more than I've seen it since Coach McGruff became my quarterback. A coach this year. So it's working. It's being built. It's being taught in our program. They have to have the confidence to go out there and execute it. But yes, there is a true lack of speed. A true lack of speed at the cornerback position. Which it shouldn't. We're Miami. We should have team speed amongst anything. But we don't. We do not. We do not.
Miami, NC State, that's the next test. It's on a Friday night. Should be interesting. You got the whole nation that wants to watch college football, so it's one of those deals where no competition. Yeah, there might be a game or two that are insignificant here and there, but basically no competition on air. So people that love college football want to watch and have trouble, like myself, figuring out. Like I looked at the noon schedule on Saturday, and I saw 7 games I want to watch. So it's always difficult for me to figure out who I'm going to watch because I'm trying to cover everyone and I've got an interest in everyone. But college football fans from all over the country are going to be checking out the Canes on a Friday night, and we'll see what Miami's got for them against NC State. We got Kasami 47 Crip. We like that. We'll take that.
Yep.
Wholesome One, Cam, the smartest in the game.
Listen, there's people out there better than me. There's people out there smarter than me, but I do appreciate the comment. I continuously work on my craft. I even listen back to catch little things like stuttering and miss comments and correct them in my next live. So, hey, thank you very much for acknowledging that and showing me some love. Me, Mark, and Cam, who you'll see in a couple hours tonight over on the main channel. If I wasn't at work, I would definitely be tuned in to be there, but I would definitely catch it on the hashtag what, Mark? Rewatch Squad.
There it is. And so we've got more people on here than we've had the entire hour. That is always the case. So we appreciate people jumping on, whether you saw the tweet from me or from the Wholesome One or just caught the notification and got on here late. So you know what that means. We're going to process and post this video. It should be up in about 15 minutes, and you can catch everything that you missed. So if you just jumped in here at any point, you missed something. So be a part of the hashtag live squad and also hashtag rewatch squad. Catch the Wholesome One over on his channel. So everybody that's listening to me right now, which is 85 people, and then all the people that will watch this video should all be subscribed to the Wholesome One's channel. Wholesome Holloway Wholesome One, HOLSUM, and the number 1 you see right there on the screen. Kasami 47 Crip, we appreciate the super chat contribution. And just so everybody's square on me, and I'll just keep it focused on Miami right here because of the obvious. And I won't go into all the content that's over on my main channel right now because I'd be sitting here for 20 minutes. So we'll just keep it simple here. We got another Miami Live coming up tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern time on the main channel with Cam Underwood, State of the U.
Woo!
I'm going to go live after the Miami NC State game. We're also probably going to have a watch party during the Miami North Carolina State game on Patreon. So join us there. Wholesome One, we appreciate you stopping by. As always, it was an honor to have you on for number 100.
I appreciate it. It was an honor to be number 100. I remember watching this in my dorms years ago when it was you and Cam, before y'all even started counting. And it's just such a blessing to be able to be on here now, man. For the people who are here, hashtag Live Squad and hashtag Rewatch Squad, thank you so much for being here and supporting, of course, the Mark Rogers Miami channel. We're supporting Mark Rogers, man. He gives us all a platform and a chance to talk about our team and show what we got. Because, I mean, once we hit live, it's live. So you gotta be
it's no pulling it back then.
Man. You got to be able to roll. And so Dominic said, get Wholesome One on with old man Cam. I would love to. If our schedules ever permitted, trust me, Mark tries to get this. If our schedules ever permitted, it would happen. I think it will happen sometime down the line here soon. I can't wait. I'll be ready for the opportunity to do so, maybe around bowl game season or maybe UNC or something like that. Okay. When we have some free time, I would love to do it, to hop on and talk with Mark, man, and talk with Cam. So appreciate everybody. My score prediction.
Okay.
24-14 Miami. I think it'll be a defensive struggle for about 3 quarters. I think Miami will score a late touchdown to keep it out of reach, but we'll see a lot of Jose Borregales. Well, not a lot. It's only one Jose Borregales field goal. But I think we'll see a lot of defense. I think both teams will go back and forth for the most part. I think Miami will score a late touchdown, put it out of reach. NC State will try and go down the field and get a touchdown and keep themselves within the game. But 10 points is more than 7. So Miami goes on to be 6-1, in my opinion. And if we lose this game, I'll be very angry, but I'll still be here on Monday night on my channel, and I'll still be here next week, Thursday, around 4:15-ish when I drive from my job here. So I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you so much, Mark. And as always, go Canes.
Now, Wholesome One, you're going to care less about what I'm about to say, but you hit it right on the Vegas betting line of 10 points. So there's going to be some people out there that are going to be upset with you because they're going to probably want to sit on one side or the other.
Right. So, yeah. Because that's where your under and over is. So it'll be 9.5 is the under, 10.5 will be the over, correct?
Well, actually, an over-under has to do with the total points scored in the game. Anytime somebody says there's an over-under, it's like in this particular game, I'm guessing it's like 45, meaning the total number of points. And so you either take the over or under. I don't deal with over and unders. I don't like them.
Oh, but it's the favorite. Miami favored by 9 or Miami favored by 10.5 or something.
Yeah,
like
the last time I saw it, it was Miami was a 10-point favorite.
There you go. I think they got it right on the head.
You're right in line with Vegas. Ashley says 38-10 Canes and curveball 38-20. And we also want to give definite recognition and post this to the screen. Sasha, thank you so much for the super chat here in the last 5 minutes. So definitely wait for the video to post. And Sasha, you can catch us for the rest of the show. So thank you so much for that. John David coming in with Miami 30-17. So as soon as the Wholesome One spits out his prediction, everybody wants to jump in with theirs. My prediction's on Patreon, so please join me there. All right, everyone, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Yeah.
I thought you were going to slip up and throw us a curveball.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
Hey, appreciate y'all. Have a great one. God bless.
See everybody at 7 o'clock Eastern time, or you can catch me at 6 with Nebraska Live over on the main channel. But Nebraska at 6, Miami at 7 over on the main channel. We'll see you then.